Hey, Kelly. How are you? I have something to tell you. Jenny, what on earth do you want? Whoa! Aren't you being too cold to your sister? You're mean. My sister? I don't want you to call us sisters. Don't tell me you forgot what happened 10 years ago. You acted like a good girl and tricked Mom and Dad that I pushed you down the stairs. And because of that lie, they kicked me out of the house without hearing my opinion. I was only a sophomore in high school. They have always loved you like crazy, but they shouldn't have done that to me. But I had worked so hard to make a living on my own, started my own modeling company, got married, and was finally ready to be happy. And then you took my husband and my daughter away from me a week ago and kicked me out of the apartment? Oh, did I do that kind of stuff? But Charlie chose me, just like Mom and Dad did. Nothing more. I'm prettier and more talented than you, so it's only natural that I was chosen, right? LOL. Chosen? You were chosen? Huh? Hey, I'm tired of you. That's why he was acting weird these days. I also thought it was strange that Marie's face looked so much like mine, even though she's my stepdaughter. He was saying some cheesy things about how we were destined to be together and that the faces happened to look alike. But it was you. You work for the company where he works. And you and Charlie used to date. And Marie was your child. Plus, you made Mom and Dad pay child support because you didn't want to. And you forced Charlie to take care of Marie all the time. He is pretty stupid to try to start over with someone like that. But how much more do you have to take from me? Even though you've become a stranger, do you really enjoy tormenting your own family that much? Well, even though once you were my sister and now a stranger to me, I feel sorry for you if you end up knowing nothing. So let me tell you, I have to be far superior compared to you. Huh? You used to be an ordinary person with nothing but a good face and body, but now you're a successful model. And you're the president of a company, and you're married to a handsome guy like Charlie. Plus, you are living an elegant life in a high-rise apartment without any inconvenience, aren't you? Seeing you like that, I got very frustrated. What's that? For such a reason? Is life all about winning or losing, superiority or inferiority? If you don't like me, then just leave me alone. The main reason I got into modeling was because I was kicked out of our house, and it was the only way I could earn money to survive on my own. I was desperate to start my own company so that I wouldn't have to depend on people like you, who are the worst kind of people. I didn't even want to see or have anything to do with you people anymore. How cocky! Just because you're a bit better? Get over yourself! You lost your husband and daughter. You should be more upset. Admit you lost. You are a low-class person than me. It's not right for you to be more arrogant than me. Why are you being so snippy? It's true that I was angry when I found out about Charlie's affair and that Marie was your own child. And you've been working with Charlie, Mom, and Dad to take Marie away from me. I was pretty depressed. I thought she was my sweet, true daughter. Oh, LOL. So you're just being stubborn. Then you should be more upset. You lost to me, and you'll always remain lower than me. But you know, it's rather refreshing to see that you're a real monster. I don't need a husband who cheats on me so easily, and I don't want a family that enjoys ruining her own blood sister's happiness. When I think of that, I can become calm naturally. I'm glad that I'm free. What the hell? That weird calmness really pisses me off. Go ahead and be pissed off, but that's how I feel right now. Besides, I was able to change because I was able to crawl up from that rock bottom in 10 years. I'm successful because I struggled from a young age. You might have wanted to kick me out when I was in high school and see me live the rest of my life at rock bottom. But if you think you can have everything in your way, you're wrong. What? But that's enough. There's nothing I can say to you, and it's a waste of my time to talk to you any longer. If you want him so badly, I'll give you the whole apartment and you can be happy with the three of you and your parents. Bye. I'll do that even if you don't tell me. Don't act like you're fine. Hey, give me your modeling company. I'll take it. I'm sure I can run it better than a woman like you. Yes, excuse me, who are you? I'm in the middle of work. Don't put me to trouble. What? What are you talking about? I'm your sister. You blocked my number, so I had to change my number and reach you. And what the hell with that attitude? Ugh, I'm the one who should be saying what the hell. And I don't have time to listen to a person who starts out by saying, give me your modeling company, as if you're robbing. Which means I'm blocking this number too. Bye. Hey, Kelly, do you think you're in a position to refuse? I don't know what's going to happen to your office. Huh? What do you mean? The owner of your office building is Charlie's relative, right? Yes, that's right. So, what are you going to do this time? How can you come up with one harassment after another? Well, you can only act cool only for now. You'll be surprised when you hear this. Charlie did us a favor and asked his relatives to cancel the lease. Now, your company is going to disappear. What? I haven't received any such notice. Well, don't worry. It won't be anytime soon. Next month is the renewal month, right? So they're going to ask you to move out at that time. Are you kidding me? Why should I face to that kind of problem? How much more do you have to take from me? He doesn't want to see your face anymore. Well, I'm still your ex-sister, so I did stop him, LOL. But he insisted, so I had no choice, LOL. So obvious. I'm sure you agreed to it with them anyway. That's enough. If Charlie is just as brainwashed by you as everyone else is, then it can't be helped. But even if you suddenly ask me to leave, I can't. Right. I'm a merciful person, so I negotiated for your sake, you know. Be thankful for your kind sister. Negotiate? Of what? I'm saying, negotiating that if you give me your company, I'll let you keep the office. Huh? That way, you won't have to move. As long as you leave, everything will work out. I'll take your whole company. What do you say? You must be so frustrated. How much more do you have to make fun of me? You just can't hand over your company to others and say, here you are. Besides, the models and the employees won't be satisfied with such an arrogant way. Huh? Are you trying to say that it is your achievement that the company has been able to survive until today? Of course not. You're just an ordinary lady with a better face. Besides, this is the result of your mediocrity and lack of popularity. So why don't you just give it to me and I'll protect your models and your employees? If the lease contract is terminated and the office disappears, everyone will be out on the street. If that happens, everyone will hate you and they will demand compensation or something. You're always ready to talk back, huh? That's enough. If you want this company, then it's all yours. What? You're going to give it away that easily? You won't listen to me. We can't even have a conversation. In exchange, I can keep the office as it is, right? You know what I'm talking about. Well then, I'll leave it to you. I really wanted to see you more frustrated though, LOL. I'll forgive you if you say you'll give me the company. Don't worry. I'll make the company even bigger than it is now. I'm sure Charlie, Mom, and Dad will be very happy. Well, good luck with that. Now don't ever get involved with me again. Now I'm in a completely superior position than you. I feel so much better now. It's absolutely ridiculous to have a person like you as the president and a successful person. Now the world is finally back to its right place. Yeah, you can say that all you want for the rest of your life. Well then, I'll leave after I finish up the paperwork. Okay, gotcha. Kelly! Kelly! Kelly, you noticed, right? Answer me! Shut up. What is it this time? What's going on with your company? As soon as I took over as president, most of the models and employees disappeared. There were more when I went to visit last time. Why are they gone so suddenly? Why? Because they all quit and came to my place. Huh? What do you mean? I explained to the models and employees everything that had happened up to this point when I handed over the company to you. Also, I told them that I would start a new company. They had to choose whether they wanted to stay with your company or follow me. That's headhunting! That's unacceptable! Give me back the power of my company! The power? The models? The employees? It's not like they're items. I mean, why aren't you here? What? I thought you had something important to do today. Something important? You have a meeting with Scott, the executive director, right? I didn't want to see you anymore either, but there is unavoidable circumstance, so I'm here too. Get here ASAP. You're already an hour late. He's very furious. What? Why are you with him? I mean, how did you know I have a meeting? I just talked to him directly about everything that's been going on. Does that mean you told him everything? That I've started to work as the president of your company as a side job? A side business? I didn't know that, LOL. The place you're working now, to be precise, it's a prestigious entertainment-related company that your parents were bragging a lot. I heard they don't allow side jobs. I just checked with Scott. If you're going to start over as the president of a new company, you should be ready for the new position. You were going to become president of another company without making any arrangements with your current employer? Give me a break. No, because a CEO is someone who sits in a chair and tells the employees what to do, which means someone who has time would do it, right? And I'm good at what I do, and I think I can do it while working at my current company. The frog in the well knows nothing of the great ocean. Huh? Even if you're not smart, you know this, right? Reality is not as kind as you think. Being a CEO is not just sitting in a chair in the office. There are many greetings and conferences too. I don't mind admitting that you got a job at a great company and are still able to work there. But how could you decide to be a CEO as a side job with such a naive idea? Oh no, but I actually have a lot of free time. I've been sitting in my chair most of the time since I became the president. Well, of course. I'm taking over everything that's been going on at that company. There's nothing for you to do. What? Why would you do that? Oh, yeah, of course. I told my business partners about it. I guess it's about time you start getting a flood of calls for the cancellation. You're going to be busy even if you don't want to be. I'm glad you're finally working like a boss. Then what am I supposed to do now? If I don't do something, this company will go bankrupt. And the apartment is already behind in its payments. Mom and Dad say they don't have any more money. That's none of my business. You're good at what you do, aren't you? Why don't you just use your brilliance to do something about it? You said you can run a company better than me, so show me how you do it, LOL. If you can't do it, why don't you cry to Charlie and your parents who love you and ask them to do something about it? I can't help you because I'm just an ordinary person with nothing but a good face and style. Oh no, it wasn't supposed to be like this. It's like I'm being set up by you. I was going to be the president and make lots of money with a cushy job? Huh? What are you talking about? I mean, Scott has become really mad at you. He's saying he doesn't want to waste his time on people like you. Oh, please? Can't you just say something reasonable? My phone started ringing like crazy. I can't come. What? You sure? If you don't show up, the company will sue you. You and Charlie too. Get sued? Why would they do that? Charlie is the general manager of your company, right? Scott already knew that Charlie was using his privilege and his family connections to embezzle company expenses to have an affair with you. He called you to give you one last chance. No! What the hell is going on? Right after you left me and remarried to Charlie, there was a tip-off while you were enjoying a happy-go-lucky honeymoon in Hawaii. I heard that it has become a problem. So if you don't come here today and explain, they're going to file for embezzlement and abuse of authority to the police. No kidding! Then why are you there? Because we used to be business partners. When I went to tell him that the president had been replaced and that I was starting a new company, the president's name was your name, so he asked me what happened. I told him everything that had happened. What? Also, I heard that there's been quite a problem with the fact that people from your own company doing things like blackmailing with the help from relatives. Scott wants to hear your story, including that. Oh, but he says he's going to call the police because you're too late. No way! Wait a minute! All right, I'll be right there. Please don't call the police. Coming this far, you're hopeless, you know. Please, help me! If I lose my company, my job, and everything, also Charlie, Marie, Mom, and Dad will all end up in the street. Hey, we're family. We're a family, so let's help each other. A family? We're already over since that day 10 years ago, aren't we? And I'm just an ordinary person with a good face and body who should be lower than you, so you don't want to be saved by someone like that, do you? Well, I feel sorry for Marie, but for her sake, the four of you should get along and live to atone for your sins. Wait, sis! I understand. I admit everything that I did wrong. I'll apologize to Charlie, Mom, and Dad, even if I have to roll my head and get down on my knees. I'm so sorry. I'll return the company and I'll do anything. So please. Sis, when was the last time you called me that? Then, can you help me, your poor sister? No, LOL. It's too late. Even if you could return the company, whatever you two make up for it, it's not that easy to get back the time and trust you lost, you know? You should have learned that before you tried to be a CEO. Bye. An hour after I turned off my phone, Jenny finally showed up at my place. However, because she admitted to a number of illegal actions, such as using expenses, threatening me, and thereby becoming the president of the company, I heard that she was taken away by police who were waiting on the spot, and Charlie was arrested and taken away by another police who went to his apartment. And I received an apology and a request to get back together from my former parents who had learned the truth of the matter, but they were arrogant and used Marie as an excuse. So, I quickly blocked them, telling them that it was their decision and that they should solve it by themselves. I'm going to work hard toward my dream with my team who believe in me at my newly established company.
Trinity? Could you tell me the reason why you and your husband were in my room earlier? If you guys are planning to stay the night here, would you both please go to the guest bedroom?
Oh, hi, Ari. I was surprised that you actually went outside the house for once, but I guess you're home now.
This place is my home, so of course I'd be coming back. Now, could you and your husband please come here and get your things out of my room?
What? What's wrong with us wanting to be in there? Do you really think it's a bad thing that my husband and I want to get a taste of what this room feels like in this penthouse here?
Then go to the guest bedroom. It has the same view as my room, but the only difference is that it's not already occupied.
We only just put our stuff down in there, though.
You really think you can just come into this house and do as you please? I'm sorry, but my bed is off limits to anyone else, as it was specifically made to my needs. I get that it's comfy, but it's not meant for you.
Oh? So you found out what I was really after in that room, then?
Well, if you chose my room over the guest bedroom, the only real difference is the bed, so that was pretty obvious to me. If you and your husband do anything in that bed while I'm out of the house, I am telling you right now that you'll both be charged $10,000 to get me a new one.
$10,000 is what you paid for that? You really expect me to believe something like that?
I hope you do, considering that's the price I had to pay. So come and get your things right now.
The fact that everything always has to be about you is so annoying. Ari, you've really gone and done it this time.
What did I do?
You went and took some of my money out of my purse, right?
Huh? I am not in that much of a need for money where I do something like that to my own sister.
Yeah, sure. That's probably because you're always taking Mom and Dad's money like some thieving parasite.
What did you say? What are you talking about?
The other day, I was in your bedroom, right? Well, I had accidentally left my purse in there when you kicked my husband and I out. So when I went in there to grab it today, there should have been around $500 in it, but there was only $200.
Huh? I don't know what happened to your money. Actually, I never even saw that your purse was left in my room these past couple of days. Did you really forget to take it out of my bedroom the other day?
That's what I expected the criminal to start saying next. I already had a talk with both Mom and Dad, and they told me they never went into your room. So that would mean while my purse was forgotten about in your room, you found it and took $300 out of it before putting it back where I had forgotten it.
This is so stupid.
So you're not going to confess to any of it?
Hey, Trinity. Could all of this be happening because you want to start living in my penthouse?
We are not talking about your penthouse right now. This is about that money which was in my purse. I want you to give me back that $300 you stole from me first before we talk about anything else here.
I told you I don't know what happened to your money.
Jeez, Ari. This is exactly the reason for why you're 40 years old and can't get married still, right?
Now, what does that have to do with anything?
You know what a lot of people call women like you? They call you a middle-aged woman still living in her nursery room.
Huh?
You don't work any kind of a job, and you live off the money your parents make. A 40-year-old, useless shut-in.
I have a job, though.
You have no idea how hard it is to make money in this world. And probably still think it just grows on trees or something. And that's why you ended up stealing my money from my purse.
I have told you 3 times now, I don't know anything about that purse.
It's so upsetting that a woman in her 40s had to steal money from her little sister.
For Christ's sake. So you have no interest in actually listening to anything I have to say, do you?
I'm not going to think of some money-stealing criminal woman as my older sister anymore, so it's over between you and I. I'm cutting ties to you. From now on, my husband and I will be living in this penthouse. It kind of sucks that Mom and Dad are still going to be living here with us, but that will only last a couple more years before they both croak. And while they're still around, they'll make for 2 great housekeepers. So this is goodbye to you, Ari. Have fun on the streets now after you're kicked out of this place.
I knew this is what you were wanting.
I have to say, the fact that you've already lived close to half of your life and have still not gotten a taste of the real world is really disappointing. So hopefully, kicking you out of this penthouse once and for all helps you grow a little. Aren't you embarrassed to be 40 now and still not have any experience working for a company? And that's not even as bad as how ashamed you should be feeling for stealing $300 out of my purse. I'm not unemployed, and I was not the one that stole your money. But if this is how you want to play this game, then I'll play along with you. I'll be out of this place as soon as possible. Good, good, good. I will praise you on the fact that you came around to accepting your crimes pretty quickly there. I want you out of this penthouse in 1 hour, all right? Once again, I'm going to have to praise you for getting all your things together and moving out of this house in under an hour. Honestly, hearing praise from someone like you gives me the opposite feeling of being happy. I'm sure you're dying on the inside right now, right? That's right. That bet of yours, the $10,000 one. I'll be taking it now. So what you mean is you'll be paying me $10,000 to take it, right? What are you going on about? It wasn't even you that paid for the bet in the first place. It was Dad that got this thing for you. Excuse me? Really? Knowing about how you forced Dad to buy you this kind of an expensive bed, even though he was already paying for you to eat and sleep in this house, is really sly of you. And that pisses me off a little. I cannot believe that for the past 2 years, ever since you completely shut yourself into this place, you've done nothing but take advantage of others and make things all about yourself. You've received enough of everyone's money now, right? From now on, it's my turn to lay back and enjoy this fancy penthouse while Mom and Dad pay for my husband and I. Trinity, you really have no idea what you've gotten yourself into. Wait, it's more like you've just forgotten everything about what happened a few years ago. Trying to threaten me by saying some really vague and stupid things like that aren't going to scare me away. Don't you ever come back here, all right? Bye-bye.
I'll hold you to that then.
Ari! Hey! What is this about this place costing $16,000 a month to live in? This penthouse has already been paid off by Dad now, right? He just came up to me and said that if I want to start living here with my husband forever, then we'll need to start paying the rent. And what's this about you having been the one paying the rent this whole time? What's Dad even going on about right now? How could a jobless parasite like you have had the money to afford a place like this?
I told you I'm not unemployed, Trinity. And if you'd like a little more detail into what I'm doing for work, I'm running a decently sized company as the CEO.
Stop lying, you idiot! Mom already told me about how you never leave the house except for maybe a couple of times a month.
That's because I'm normally working remotely from my bedroom. And the only reason I really have to leave the house at all is to go to the office building and hold meetings or talk with some customers in person. That's what Mom meant by that. Now, listen here. We are not living in the 20th century anymore. This is the 21st century now, where people can be employed yet not ever have to leave their home. And recently, due to a lot of world events, companies have been more open to letting their employees work from home instead of having to make any commute into the office.
I don't need to listen to you talking about all that crap.
And another thing, Trinity, has your mental health gotten any better? I ask that because it seems that you've only gotten worse when it comes to how you twist situations to your benefit, so that you never have to listen to anything others are saying to you. Did you stop going to see that therapist or something?
Come on! I had thought this whole time that Dad bought this amazing penthouse with the money he got from his pension after he left his company and retired.
So you forgot what happened with Dad then when he retired?
Come back here already, Ari!
I can't do that. Remember that I'm holding you to your word now? And that word was you saying for me to never return there again.
But there's nobody here that can afford to pay this kind of rent.
Well, then you should have actually been listening to me.
Shut the hell up. Ari! Both Mom and Dad left the penthouse. They even took all the things that were left over in your room and left. There's not a single person in this house that can help pay for the rent now. My husband's been telling me over and over again that he's not earning enough to pay for this place. $16,000 is way too crazy for him and I to afford.
Well, it's not like you'll be paying it anyway, considering that this is the last month you can live in that penthouse. After that, the lease will be finished and you both will have to leave.
What?
I made sure to end my lease there a while ago, and this was the last month before the landlord said he'd be placing the penthouse back on the market. If you want to continue living there, then you'll have to apply for the place and hope you're accepted. But of course, that'll mean you both have to start paying rent.
What the hell are you talking about? It's only been 2 years since you, Mom, and Dad moved into this place, right?
I know that. And from the very beginning, we only really were planning to stay there for around 2 years.
Why would you only want to stay for that short period of time?
Ugh, Trinity. Because of you, Mom and Dad were no longer able to live in the house they had before. You know, the one you and I both grew up in? You seriously forgot literally everything that happened back then?
What?
You went and forced one of your former classmates to give up their husband and let you take him, right? And, well, that former classmate of yours, Grandpa, just so happened to be the technical owner of the land Mom and Dad's house was on. That man ended up getting very, very upset with you and the family and forced both Mom and Dad out of their house to have it torn down. And then he went and sold the land to someone else. But before he could do that, Dad was forced by him to pay for the house's demolition and for the land to be cleaned up, which cost Dad most of his retirement and all.
What the hell? How?
So that's what happened with you. You didn't forget about what happened, rather you just never cared about how it would later affect your parents.
But Ari...
I told Mom and Dad that I could step in and pay off the settlement that was being asked from them by your former classmate and her parents. But they told me it wasn't any of my responsibility. So I thought, at the very least, I would take Mom and Dad, who had lost their house at the fault of you, and I would put them in a penthouse with me, since the both of them had always wanted to live in one of the skyscrapers downtown. So after they had paid all their dues that you caused, they came to me and we moved into the penthouse together. Mom and Dad were in tears about what I was giving them, and I asked them how long they wanted to live there, and they both agreed on 2 years.
So that's why your lease is over with now?
Although I'm kind of surprised that Mom and Dad even allowed you to come over to my penthouse after all your cheating husband and thieving self had done to them.
Huh?
Are you aware why Mom and Dad were both living with me in that penthouse now? Because of all that you'd done. And if you'd like to know, the only reason you and your husband were actually allowed past security is because I allowed it.
What the? I had always thought that Mom and Dad were so happy to pay off that settlement for me, and then chose to buy that penthouse with Dad's retirement after I left. And that you forced your way into there after leaving the part-time job you had and making them pay for all your needs. I thought that if Mom and Dad could afford a penthouse like that and pay for a full-grown woman like you, then they really were rich, and that got me all excited.
Well, in reality, all of this was forced to happen because of what you'd done, and it was rough for all of us since. I really thought you already knew about everything that happened since you were the cause of all of it. I would really like to know what's inside that massive head of yours. It can't be considered a true brain or anything by any form of scientific method, can it? And this is why Mom and Dad were asking you to please go and see a therapist.
I never thought my own sister would say that about me. Hey, can you tell me where Mom and Dad moved to?
Not happening.
Why not?
Because they've both demanded that I never tell you.
Then where have you moved to, Ari? I'm sure that things are so lonely for a single 40-year-old woman, right? My husband and I will come live with you to help make you feel better.
What a freaking joke. I'm not even single anymore.
What? You got married without telling me?
That's right.
Then how about you let my husband and I live there and we can all be a happy double couple family?
I don't want you causing any trouble for my husband, so I'm not telling you where I live.
No way.
How about you stop acting like everything's about you and get real, Trinity? You have now not only been disowned by both Mom and Dad, but you've also lost the privilege of calling me your older sister.
What?
Honestly, something like this should have happened a lot sooner. I think right after you stole that man away from someone else and married him, while also causing both Mom and Dad to lose their home and money, we all should have cut ties to you. Maybe Mom and Dad both thought that after a few years you'd change. But considering the kind of freak you are mentally, there is no way you'd get any better. You didn't even bother going through more therapy, instead just making up a plan to have me kicked out of the house by saying I stole your money. Ugh. There's no hope for you anymore. You're not going to be living in that penthouse for much longer, and you won't be finding any of us.
Wait! The apartment my husband and I had been living in before. We ended the lease on it, so...
Well, that penthouse's lease is also ending, so find somewhere new to live from now on.
But there's nowhere left we can go.
Make sure you're out of there before the end of this month. Goodbye forever.
Wait a second, Ari! We can figure something out for me.
Trinity and I are 10 years apart in age. Which means she's 30 years old now, yet you probably would never be able to guess that by the way she acts so much like a selfish and spoiled brat. Ever since I can remember, she's always been wanting the things I had. But who could have seen her behavior getting any worse to the point she'd go after other people's things, like their husband? And it's a bit more than 2 years since that happened. These last 2 years, my parents and I have done our best to move past the horrible memories she implanted in us. But after thinking she'd be back a better person, she only proved to us that her mental health was not fixable. And because of that, she's no longer a part of this family. On the day her and her husband had to leave that penthouse, they got into this huge fight that led to their divorce. But the issue there was that my sister had no money at all, so she couldn't afford to even rent the most basic of places. Therefore, she had to contact my rather hard ass of an aunt, who came and picked her up to move out with them and work on their farm. Our aunt went ahead and made a deal with Trinity, which was that by working on her farm and paying my parents back every cent they lost because of her 2 years ago, she would not have to be abandoned by the rest of the larger family as well. Seems that her life of having no money at all is going to continue on for a couple more years now.